Hello, everyone, and welcome back to King's Advisors. So, tonight we're going to be talking about the first three new episodes of season 2 of Jack Reacher. Now, I've been waiting for a while for this, and I did that trailer reaction a couple weeks ago, and it did really well. So, I wanted to not only let everyone that may be new to the channel know that I will be covering all of the episodes, but that we will also be going more in depth with each episode on the Witten on Tuesday nights. So don't forget to check that out. So I was a little concerned with how this season would play out because of the whole team aspect of the trailer. You know, Jack Reacher has always been like a solo guy. And having only read the first, I think, 6, maybe 7 books, he usually only ever has like one other person with him. It's never really a team. So I was a little hesitant, just a little bit, that this might be a weird way of going in just the second season. But I was completely wrong, and I think they have done a fantastic job with the writing. I think the actors and actresses playing the different team members are doing a fantastic job. And I think they're also doing a really good job of 3 episodes in, really kind of keeping us in the dark of what the big bad is. What's the bad thing happening here? And so with each episode, we get a little bit more of the picture, but 3 episodes in, there's only 5 episodes left, and I still don't really have any idea of what it is. I think it has something to do with weapons, but beyond that, I'm not really sure. Now, I do want to bring up the screen here and show kind of not necessarily the episode, like we're not going to go over everything in the episode like they do in some other shows, but we're going to kind of discuss certain areas and be like, this is what I liked about this is what I didn't like about that. And we're not going to do a lot of them. Like I said, we'll really go deeper into it on the Witten. But we start here with this really great scene where he is dealing with this lady that's been carjacked. And one of the things I like about this is going from at the beginning when he's getting the clothes from the thrift store all the way to when he comes back to the thrift store to get the new jacket, which we saw in the trailer. You can kind of tell that, Reacher's kind of sick of people like this chick right here. The cashier, she's kind of everything wrong with millennials, Gen Z, that kind of stuff. There's one thing that I want to point out in this scene right here, and it's that Alan Richardson has put in the work. Now, he was a big guy for season 1, but we know that he's added over 20 pounds of muscle for this season, and he just looks bigger. And I'm thoroughly impressed whenever an actor is willing to put in the work to really control their look of a character, especially a character that like Reacher, whose appearance is such a big part of his character. Now, anyone that's watched it knows a lot happens. He finds out about the friend of theirs that got thrown out of the helicopter, and he meets up with all the other members of the team. And one of the things that I really enjoyed was seeing Robert Patrick in this show. I think Robert Patrick is doing a really good job. I'm assuming we're going to get a lot more of him further down the road. I'm hoping for one of those, kind of classic monologue moments from the bad guy. Now, one of the really funny little Easter eggs in this show happens right here. And this henchman is kind of reading off a list of names saying this person stayed here, this person stayed here. And he's having to, and Robert Patrick's having to explain who these people are. But he mentions that one person played for the Yankees in like the 70s. But what's funny is that the other name was Sarah Connor. And later in this scene, he says, I don't give an F who Sarah Connor is. But what's even better about all this is these little interactions that Reacher has with his team. We get to see a different side to Reacher in this. In season 1, we saw a really quiet, really reserved Reacher. But everyone he was interacting with, he had only known for, a couple of hours up to maybe a day or two. So, but he knows these people really well. They're part of his special investigations team. And so to see him interacting with them differently, we got a little bit of that with his interactions with Neagley in season 1. But it was still kind of reserved. It was still we were still kind of figuring out who Reacher was. He's a much friendlier, a much nicer guy in this season. And there's a lot of funny in this season too. I've laughed a lot, and it's not felt like a forced joke. It hasn't felt like any forced comedy, hasn't felt like Marvel or any of that crap. It just feels organic. It feels like you're kind of being let in on a joke between the two of them and between the rest of the team further down the line. When we end up meeting with the second team member right around here, there's a moment where Reacher is fighting him because he's not aware of who he is. But this is such a funny little. I'm gonna risk playing it because it kind of starts being the thing that kind of delves into. Oh, there's definitely a history here.
Switchblade? Look down.
Yeah.
So you're still using brass knuckles? No more switchblade? Look down.
And I love that. But it really kind of builds on this. There's camaraderie there that Reacher didn't really have with any of the other members in the first season. He was kind of flirty and friendly with Roscoe, and obviously, they, get on, but there was never like a history there. With this, you can kind of tell that there's a backstory here, and I really do enjoy that. And then throughout scenes like this one where they're in the hotel room and everyone just looks relaxed, they're going through everything. I really did enjoy this little detail here with the Transformer sticker on Neagley's laptop. Big fan of that. I like it. And then, of course, the second episode starts with that scene in the trailer where he kicks the car and the airbag deploys, and then he beats the absolute crap out of this guy, which was I really enjoyed the sucker punch. I thought it was hilarious. But then, of course, spoiler alert, they found out he's a cop. And so that really kind of affects everything they're going to do. But I like that even in the car ride where they're kind of like joshing about, well, you just beat up a cop, dude. Like, I'd be kind of freaking out, but they're kind of being playful a little bit, and it's nice. It brings out that comedy that you don't necessarily need to write the joke. You don't need something that says insert joke here. It's just the comedy of the moment. And of course, they end up having to get a new car, and we finally meet Serinda Swan's character, which obviously I was a really big fan of. And of course, as the story progresses, you find out a little bit more about everyone. You find out that Serinda Swan's character apparently had always been in love with Reacher, but he didn't know that, and she thought that he was just being friendly. And then, of course, we know what happens at the end of this episode. They get all buddy, sweaty. But even that was funny because when they all wake up, we get this.
Morning,
We
Vixen.
need to talk to you about what happened last night.
Oh, the whole hotel heard what happened last night.
Told you were allowed.
It's just, I mean, what else would your friends who have known you for 10 years, what else would they say? There's just a lot of development here that's happening without really like pushing the subject, which I love. And of course, in the third episode, we finally get to see how evil Robert Patrick is going to be in this season. Now this was probably my favorite scene so far when Russo, the cop that Reacher beats up, finally catches up, pulls them over, And it turns out that the other team member
Kiss my
here
ass.
actually went to law school, which obviously I'm a big fan of, having gone to law school myself. But one of the things that I loved was this scene where he just talks out of his ass. Like, it's complete bullshit, and I loved it. I loved every second of it. But let's watch this real quick.
This conviction actually comes to pass. My client's requested counsel. If you separate us during transport, you'll be creating a contestable issue that I assure you I will win on appeal in the slim chance a conviction actually comes to pass.
None of that is remotely accurate.
I love that. I love that because that's exactly true. It has nothing to do with bad script writing or anything like that. It's just, this is a guy that went to, I don't know if he's an actual lawyer. He just went to law school. But just talk it out of his damn ass. Love it. Perfection. It's all we do. We talk out of our asses. Loved it. It genuinely was one of my favorite scenes. And then, of course, we get a bunch of other stuff that happens. But one of the things that I love the most about this is they have two female characters in this show. They've got Serinda Swan's character and Neagley, Carla Dixon and Frances Neagley. And this is a really cool scene. The thing that I like about this is you've got two theoretically strong women. Whenever we complain about female characters, it's always, oh, you just don't want to see women on TV, or you just want them to be talking about boys, or you just want them to be naked having sex with each other or with men. And it's not that at all. What we want are good written characters. We don't care if they're male or female. And I think these are two good examples of well-written female characters. This is not Game of Thrones. These are not going to be, Peabody Award writing written characters. But something they do here, and they've done throughout the first season with Neagley, and have now done throughout different flashback scenes with Carla Dixon, Serinda Swan's character right here, is they have created a backstory of success and why they will know these things. So they've allowed us to believe, they've created the believability. John Lasseter, who used to be the head of Pixar, said it's not about creating a real world, it's about creating a believable world. We don't care if the world's real, if it's not believable. It is believable that these two chicks are badasses and are going to kick ass because of stuff we've seen already. It doesn't just happen out of nowhere. So that is far and away the best part about this show so far. So far, I am absolutely loving this show. I think it is kicking ass. I cannot wait till next Friday. I'm really annoyed that I have to wait a whole week, but I also think that's a really good thing for Amazon. They get people sticking around for another 5 weeks. We're going to watch this show, and I think it's only going to get better. Not only is the show going to get better, but I think the numbers are only going to get better. And I'm interested to look to see what Amazon announces about these numbers in the coming days. As always, everyone, thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps grow the channel. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter at KingsAdvisors_.